Diddy is hosting extravagant parties in Miami, and the next he is incarcerated at one of America's most notorious jails. However, what is really confusing, folks, is Oprah Winfrey's name, which is now used interchangeably with Diddy's. Yes, you heard correctly. The millionaire media tycoon, the queen of daytime chat, the woman who centered her brand on healing and empowerment, is suddenly being connected to one of the most sinister scandals in the history of entertainment, and the one drawing the curtain back, Denzel Washington, of course. Let us begin with the fundamentals. Diddy's legal predicament goes beyond simple reprimands. Some of the most horrifying accusations in recent memory are being made against this man. Victims of drugging, extortion, trafficking, and even child exploitation. This has nothing to do with a rumor mill. When Diddy's ex-girlfriend Cassie filed her case back in late 2023, it really took off. These are actual allegations being made in federal court. It has been a floodgate ever since. Police searched his residences, seized unsettling video, and discovered what sounded more like a set for a horror film than a famous abode. In the hundreds, baby oil by the gallon, and chambers purportedly prepared for some rather sinister activities. The sort of things that make every picture taken on the red carpet make you look twice. This is where things start to go crazy. Suddenly, Oprah's name appears. From Denzel Washington personally, not from some dubious tabloid or internet discussion board. Hollywood power tactics are nothing new to Denzel, but he often keeps things elegant. People pay attention when a man like him starts criticizing Oprah. He is well respected, calculating, and reserved while speaking. Additionally, those with knowledge of the situation claim that Denzel has been making fun of Oprah for some time, not only for the way she addresses certain issues in public, but also for the way she interacts with individuals in private, particularly black women in the field. You see, Oprah and Diddy's relationship is not a passing fancy. They have been acquainted for many years. They have met more times than most fans can remember, from attending industry events like the BET Awards to rubbing elbows at the Grammys, Cannes, and even fashion galas. Diddy has even been on her show, where his ascent to stardom and his commercial endeavors were ridiculed. It appeared to be mutual respect between two black titans who overcame adversity. However, people are now revisiting those old interviews with a whole different perspective. Although Oprah has always had a spotless public image, not everyone is buying into her. You see, there is always conversation going on behind the scenes. There have been rumors that Oprah had ties to dubious figures like John of God, a purported spiritual healer who was ultimately found guilty of some incredibly heinous acts. When the truth was revealed, she discreetly withdrew her appreciation of him from her platform. The internet, however, never forgets. People are beginning to make connections between previously unnoticed details as a result of Diddy's case blowing up and names flying everywhere. What about Denzel? He is upset about the double standards, not simply Oprah's affiliations. Oprah has advocated for women's empowerment, particularly in the film industry. When it comes to promoting women's rights, bringing attention to injustice, and elevating others, she is in the forefront. What happens though if the women are black actresses? For instance, Taraji P. Henson did not mince words. She openly stated that Oprah underpaid her for her work on the film The Color Purple, which Oprah produced herself. She is not alone either. When Oprah is making decisions, Fantasia, Halle Bailey, and others have all hinted or stated directly that something is amiss. Therefore, Denzel's voice was not arbitrary. Tension that had boiled over for years. White parties hosted by Diddy were legendary. Everything was white, there was champagne all the time, there were enough celebrities to fill 3 Met galas, and supposedly, things got even darker behind closed doors. These were not merely gatherings, they were the cradle of some of the most unsettling conduct the entertainment industry has witnessed in decades, according to numerous lawsuits and first-hand reports. Allegedly, what began as glamorous rooftop parties devolved into backroom rituals that gave rise to nightmares. The truth may have been in plain sight the entire time, but the majority of Hollywood dismissed it as Diddy going over the top. It is obvious. Rappers and influencers were not the only people attending these events. The biggest names from TV, movies, and music were all over you. Paris Hilton, Ashton Kutcher, Kim Kardashian, Jay-Z, Leonardo DiCaprio, and even Mariah Carey. Indeed, it has been alleged that Oprah Winfrey herself attended multiple of these high-profile events. Although it does not imply that she was present during the commotion, it does raise some concerns. Because because it is difficult to think that anyone who was present did not see or hear something if even a small portion of the accusations are accurate. Models were flown in under dubious contracts, ladies were brought in from abroad, and attendees were escorted into back rooms where phones were stolen and the actual parties started. Industry heavyweights stood steps away, sipping champagne as if it were a typical Friday night, while barely dressed ladies lay over couches, obviously intoxicated, according to leaked images from one of those notorious nights. These club nights were not just any old ones. Powerful people felt invincible in these controlled settings, and some may have gone too far thinking that no one would dare to expose them. It was no accident that Diddy's actions were the subject of a federal probe. The case has been developed over years, according to the authorities, who have gathered testimony from more than 100 witnesses and tracked occurrences that have occurred in several states, including New York, California, and Nevada. Of them, at least 25 were children. Diddy is accused of drugging and assaulting a 13-year-old girl following an awards show, which is one of the most unsettling allegations. Others claim that he used oils laced with GHB during freak-offs, his euphemism for private parties that allegedly crossed all lines of permission. Men who allege they were abused have also made claims. Diddy is presently being imprisoned at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, which is regarded as one of the cruelest and most dangerous jails in the nation. The severity of this situation is evident from that alone. However, as Diddy's empire implodes in real time, attention is shifting to those who either allowed him to do it or chose to remain silent. Oprah comes on. Her supporters argue that guilt by association is unfair, and that merely being in the same group or at the same event does not imply complicity. However, her detractors contend that Oprah, of all people, should have recognized the warning signs, especially someone with her connections, wealth, and influence. They want to know why she has not made a statement, acknowledged anything, or even denied anything. Some people claim that her quiet is more powerful than her speech. Concern over the number of girls from Oprah's own South African school who may have later come into contact with the entertainment business is also mounting. Although no clear connection has been established, conjecture is spreading. Online users are wondering if some of those pupils found themselves in circumstances they should not have been in, especially in light of Oprah's connections to Diddy's and other Hollywood circles. Although it is a delicate subject, it will not go away. It is getting tougher for everyone in Diddy's orbit to stay unaffected by each new lawsuit, with each detail more terrifying than the previous. The walls are closing in, and everyone is keeping a close eye on who will be affected. Diddy's lawyers are rushing. They have labeled the allegations ludicrous, asserted that the claims are inflated, and urged for the accusers' identities to be made public so they can mount a thorough defense. Prosecutors, however, are not giving up. As they continue to accumulate evidence, they are keeping everything under lockdown. Federal investigations, criminal charges, and civil lawsuits. The image gets worse with every new news, and it is all getting closer. According to one lawsuit, plaintiffs were reportedly raped in a variety of locations, including hotels, department stores, and mansions, after being drugged with sedative-laced cocktails. And the most unsettling aspect? The application of GHB-laced baby oil. Not something that most people simply keep on hand. It is no longer a scandal involving celebrities. Abuse, coercion, and a network of silence that allowed it all to fester for years are all part of this terrible tale. And the thing that is most hurting people is the quiet. No one with actual authority spoke up when it mattered, despite all the parties, interviews, and red carpet grins. Denzel Washington drew the line there. Since he never played the game, his name is well known in this field, never had to. Additionally, he has stated unequivocally that he will not stand with anyone who contributes to the concealment of such secrets. It is not performative for Denzel to promote black actresses like Monique and Taraji P. Henson. Even in awkward situations, he has advocated for respect and equal compensation. His criticism of Oprah is not being dismissed because of this. He is not a product of tabloid rumors. He is criticizing the system, the hypocrisy, and the elites that support empowerment while trampling on the same people they are supposed to support. Oprah's supporters contend that she has done more for black communities than nearly any other member of the media. They cite her platform, scholarships, and South African school. Indeed, she has aided many people, but whether or not she has done well is not the point of the criticism. The question is whether she ignored it when it mattered most. It is becoming more widely accepted that her public persona has protected her from responsibility, and that picture is now beginning to crumble. It also has to do with how he has managed to hold on to his position in the industry for so long. He continued to rise in spite of years of rumors and awkward press coverage, talk shows, award shows, and endorsement agreements. As long as he played the game and kept the money coming in, it is almost as if the system was set up to keep him safe. Given her enormous power and command over media narratives, some people argue that Oprah may have quietly contributed to upholding his legacy, or at the very least, never questioning it. All of this does not imply that Oprah broke any laws. However, moral responsibility is currently more important to individuals than legal definitions. Are you not contributing to the issue if you have the ability to reveal darkness but decide not to? More and more people are asking that question, particularly those who once admired her. Diddy is currently awaiting trial, and the list of accusations is constantly expanding. The mechanism that made it all possible, however, may be the larger tale: the famous people who grinned for pictures, the business leaders who approved transactions. Since it was not their concern, the insiders who heard the rumors chose to remain silent. It feels like a reckoning as the fractures widen and the lawsuits mount. For everyone who contributed to creating the illusion, not only Diddy, the story has changed regardless of Oprah's response. People are paying closer attention and asking more in-depth questions.